Hello, my name's Laura Pizzorno. I'm the author of Your Bones, and I'm here to share information with you from the breaking research that I hope will inspire you to be very good about getting enough calcium and also getting enough exercise to promote healthy bones. Today I'd like to talk with you about the ways in which calcium helps us get more fat-burning bang for our exercise buck. In 2005, Melanson and his research team at the Center for Human Nutrition at the University of Colorado published a study showing that calcium enhances our ability to burn fat. For 1 week, the subjects in this study, 10 men and 9 women, consumed either a low calcium, low dairy diet, providing about 500 milligrams of calcium per day, which unfortunately is about the amount that most people get, or many people get in the United States now, unless they're supplementing with calcium. Or they put the people on a high calcium, high dairy food diet that provided approximately 1,400 milligrams of calcium per day. And then the subjects were switched over later to whichever diet they hadn't tried yet. On the 7th day for each diet, the subjects were put into a room calorie meter, and on that day, their calorie intake was lower than they needed to maintain their weight. They tried to set up a calorie deficit of 600 calories less than was needed for these individuals to maintain their weight on that day, just for those 24 hours. And they achieved this with a combination of calorie restriction and exercise, which of course is always the best way to lose weight. If you need to lose weight, you want to reduce your calories a little bit and you want to up your exercise a little bit. And that combination makes it so much easier to stick to a healthy diet because you're not starving. Also, as I've mentioned in other videos, calcium actually suppresses appetite a little bit, so you feel full sooner, and that makes it easier to eat a little less. So you could do pretty much what they did in this study by reducing your calorie intake by 300 to 400 calories on the day and exercising at a level that works up a sweat for you for about an hour or long enough to burn 200 to 300 calories. At a moderate level on the Stairmaster, I find that I typically burn more than 200 calories in a half an hour, and boy, it really speeds by if I'm reading a good book. So in these obese subjects, when their higher calcium intake was combined with fewer calories and exercise, the amount of fat that they burned during the next 24 hours went up more than 30%, increasing from 100 grams per day on the low calcium, calorie-restricted diet to 136 grams of fat burned per day when they were consuming 1,400 milligrams of calcium and exercising. The researchers thought that this substantially greater fat loss seen with greater calcium intake was due to the fact that they were burning more fat when they were exercising if they'd had enough calcium. In other words, calcium will help us get more bang for our exercise buck. 3 years later, in 2008, Teagarden and Gunther and their team published further research in which they saw a significant increase in what is called lipid oxidation, and that just means fat burning, following a 12-week placebo-controlled trial of calcium supplementation along with a diet that resulted in a 500-calorie deficit per day. Subjects were randomized into one of 3 intervention groups. They either got a placebo, this was consuming less than 800 milligrams of calcium per day, or they were in a group taking a calcium supplement providing 900 milligrams of calcium per day, or they were in a group that got 3 servings of dairy products that gave them an additional 900 milligrams of calcium per day. Fat burning increased significantly in subjects taking supplemental calcium or taking supplemental calcium and eating dairy foods. Blood levels of parathyroid hormone decreased, which, as you know, it gets elevated when we don't have enough calcium circulating in the bloodstream, and then it causes us to remove calcium from our bones. So it's great that their blood levels of parathyroid hormone decreased, and so their loss of abdominal fat mass increased. When calcium is consumed with meals, either as part of the foods we eat or as a plant-derived calcium supplement, such as Algical, the result is a significantly lower postprandial lipid response, which means less fat appears in the bloodstream after eating. Up to 19% fewer triglycerides were seen in the bloodstream in this study in the people who were getting adequate calcium. Most probably this is because less fat is absorbed when food-derived calcium is consumed with a meal. Looking at the results of all the studies that I've shared with you in the last several videos, it's clear that not getting enough calcium not only promotes bone loss, but also causes changes in our metabolism that lessen our ability to mobilize fat, retain our muscle mass, and burn fat for energy. The next time you work out, you might want to have a glass of milk instead of an energy drink afterwards, and I'll tell you why in our next video clip. Thanks for tuning in.